Hola amigos, ¿cómo están ustedes? Bien? Okay. Hey guys, it's Yazzie. It's been a while since I've done a video. I am personally declaring a state of emergency, and you will see why in a minute. So, I and it really, honestly, I'm going to be honest, and it pained me. I was not able to sit through the entire Trayvon Martin case because every time I saw certain clips, I was just like, kept watching. I was like, okay, I can't watch this anymore. It was almost as if it was unreal. So now, Miss Rachel Jeantel, forgive me if I mispronounce her name. Now, when she went on the witness stand, there were several things that were wrong with that whole scenario. Now, let me just clarify a few things before I get into what I'm really here to talk about. Rachel is from an environment that in which perhaps usually she would speak slang on a regular basis, right? And I cannot judge her school because I don't know what her school, how her school is operated, how her teachers teach. I can't be the judge of that because I have not been there. I don't know. There was I saw this one video of this guy, and he's older and he talks like this, and he has two kids or something, and he homeschools them, and he made the statement that Rachel is the perfect example of an epic public school fail. Now, I am the product of a public school. You may think all sorts of things about me. They may not all be positive, and that's fine. However, you cannot it is never fair to generalize a whole entire demographic, a whole entire population, a whole group of people and say they're all this one way. That is never correct. That is not fair. I am the product of public schools. I grew up in public schools my whole entire life. What I will say is it's less of the school and more of the parents' fault. It starts in the home, essentially, because if I did not have my grandmother and I just or whoever has been an influence on my life, if I just went to public school, yeah, I might not be as professionally trained as I am, right? But that kind of made me upset. That made me upset. And this came from a black guy who was just like, oh, this is a public school's a total epic fail, and this is that and the other. And she's young. It's not very that's not very nice. So anyway, moving on from that, I wish someone had told her. I wish someone, one of her friends or somebody, I know somebody knew her and saw this and just said, Rachel, you got to get yourself together. I wish a mentor or a teacher or the parents or somebody had just told her, Rachel, when you get on that stand, you need to stand up straight. You need to speak clearly. You need to pronunciate your words and be honest. And so, now you have a juror on Anderson Cooper. I'm kind of disappointed. I don't know if he actually interviewed anyone else when he interviewed that juror, and the juror lady was saying that I just felt sorry for Rachel. She didn't want to be there, and I think that she felt, she didn't say the word inferior, but she was basically she felt inadequate. I think she felt inadequate because of her grammar, her communication skills. Like, hold on, So what I'm here to explain, and a lot of the grown professionals, you don't necessarily need to hear this because this is you've been using these skills to help you to become successful. But for my young people, it's okay to live life and have fun while you're young. But when these types of things happen, whether you're trying to apply for a job or, more importantly, if you're going on a witness stand, if you're going to be on national TV, have your stuff together. Have your stuff together. Be on point. because it's a reflection of who you are. It's a reflection of unfortunately, there are lots of ignorant people out there. And because of your one performance, they can judge a whole group of people. And I'm not just talking about black people, I'm saying in general, even though I may be leaning to one, being more specific to a group than another. So here are some tips that I would like to share, and I hope that they will inspire you. Or I mean, I don't know if this video is ever going to get into the right hands, but you never know. Okay, so, and another thing, with these things, people are not going to take you seriously if you don't take yourself seriously, or even if you don't appear to take yourself seriously. I know that Rachel was going through a lot. I know that she was emotionally stressed, but that is not an excuse for not giving your best performance. This is your friend. This is supposed to be your best friend, and you hunched over like, you know, like, no, that's your best friend. So anyway, if you're going to an interview, or you're standing on, or if you are sitting in a witness stand in any court or anywhere professional, do not use slang unless it was in a quote. So that happened to Rachel, but she didn't necessarily explain what certain slang quotes meant, and so that was easily misinterpreted. And I didn't appreciate the prosecution. Ooh, y'all put me on a witness stand. Let that prosecution try to be rude to me. Ooh, the wrong child, the wrong. See, they always pick the wrong one. They need to get the right one in the stand. Ooh, I would have had that case. Okay, speak slowly and clearly. The judge had to ask Rachel too many times, please speak slowly and clearly and loudly so that we can hear you. I know y'all heard that. That got so much on my nerves. I couldn't watch it anymore. It was painful to watch because they had to keep saying that, and therefore it was almost an excuse for them to disrespect her and to be rude to her, or to ask the questions rudely. Sit up straight. Sit up straight. Please stand up straight. Don't slouch. You know, unless you have a condition, don't slouch. Don't, like, look like you're trying to go to sleep. Don't cross your arms. Don't put your hand all up in your face and in your mouth so they can't hear you. Sit up straight. When you stand up, when you sit up straight, that exudes confidence. And when you exude confidence, people are more likely to pay attention to you and more likely to respect you. They're less likely to disrespect you. Body language speaks volumes, and lots of times more people focus on your body language than what you're saying. And it got to the point I was looking at Rachel, I was focusing on her body language. I was like, girl, what are you doing? Stop shaking. She was going like this, looking like she was shucking it. I was like, what is she doing? No. Now that doesn't deduct, I'm proud. Just like a lot of other people have said, I am proud of her in the sense that she was willing to speak, because she could have very well have decided not to, but yet there are certain things that I see a lot of young people doing, and I want you to be successful. A lot of people don't want you to be successful, but I do. Look a person directly in the eyes. Look a person directly in the eyes. Yes, do not be scared of another person's eyes. You can actually read a lot from another person's eyes. Everybody's not necessarily a good reader, but honestly, you don't have to be. If you look someone in the eyes, you can see if they're genuine. You can see if they have a real affection for you, if they love you, or you can see if they don't have your best interest at heart. You can see that in somebody's eyes. And when you lock with somebody's eyes, they are paying attention to you. There is no doubt. Even if they're not necessarily listening to what you're saying, they're at least looking at you. So you have half of their attention, okay? Now, okay, what else? Don't bounce. If you're sitting down, don't bounce or bobble your head. So at one point I saw Jeantel go like this, like do the Indian bob. And I'm like, what was that about? And she was going like, a couple times she was bouncing and going like this. Please do not do that. that comes off as disrespectful. It may not it may not mean that you're being that way, but that's how it comes off. And look, it doesn't matter what it is, it's what it looks like, unfortunately, in a lot of instances. And in public speaking, in the public speaking arena, what it looks like is what it is, whether you mean it to be or not. Now, granted, some people have speech impediments. Some people have a problem with stuttering. Some people have, like Jeantel, have an underbite or an overbite or a lisp that prevent them from pronouncing their words efficiently. Okay? Now, if you have one of those following problems, that's okay. Nobody's perfect. What I suggest is two things. Is to go to a speech, I don't know what the word is. Let's just say a speech counselor. And also to go in front of the mirror, because I've heard that even stuttering is more of it's not like a mental thing. It's more of a psychological thing, if that makes any sense. And so what I'm saying is stuttering, I believe can be broken. It can be fixed. So look in the mirror. Look at yourself. Look at your eyes. Look into your eyes and begin to speak. And just practice. If you stutter, that's okay. Just look at yourself. Say, I can do this. I can do this. And start. Trust me. If you really want to fix it, if you have enough faith and determination, you can do it. Now, most people understand if you stutter, they're not gonna categorize you a certain way, but people think all kinds of things. So I think I'm almost done. Please do not roll your eyes. Do not suck your teeth. And I saw that in Rachel. I think at one time she was just like, I think she might have been thinking, but she went like this. And so it seemed as though she did not want to be there, as the juror said, which I don't think is true. I don't think she did not completely want to be there. I just think it was a lot of stress, and, that kind of caused her to fold under pressure. Anyway. Or suck your teeth. Don't do any of that. Like, just don't do it. And sometimes you make mistakes. Now, another thing is limit your idioms. That is a big problem that I have. A lot of people naturally have the idiom, and I do that a lot, right? But if you make a conscious effort to think about what you're saying before it comes out, you're less likely to do that. A lot of people have, maybe almost everybody has the idiom, because you're thinking, but it's verbally coming out as you're processing your thoughts. When I'm suggesting, when you're on a stand or you're giving a testimony or you're speaking in front of a large crowd, that type of thing, limit those idioms. Just because, see there, I just did it. Limit those idioms because because it can be distracting. Another big idiom that is a slang term is, and yes, it is a slang term, is like. I went down the street and I was like, oh my goodness, and he was like, and I mean, I want to go to the movies, but like no, that sounds so bad. And I think it's so funny. I know some people who will be talking to someone and they just keep saying like, instead of saying they'll say like. And it drives them absolutely crazy. They be like, if they say like one more time, I'm gonna explode, type of thing. And it's funny, but it's not funny. It's funny. So don't do that. And if you know you do that, or if somebody loves you enough to tell you, girl, you need to stop doing that. Mostly girls do that. Guys don't really do that like thing. Now, granted, it is okay to have different dialects or linguals, whatever you want to call it. All people have lingo, have slang that maybe other people won't understand. Every single culture, minority, majority, it just, everyone has it, right? But there's this thing called the switch on, switch off. There's a switch. There are certain times when you need to switch that off. Now, if your slang language or where have you has a lot of profanity in it and things like that, that can be a little dangerous because one, someone might hear you that you don't really know and they're gonna judge you based off of that. They may not tell you, you may not ever know that they hear. Like, for example, maybe you go in the store and you're on the phone like, that she did what? And like, no, that's not okay because someone else might hear you. You just never really know. You never know who's watching you. And with everybody with these iPhones and everybody has a recorder, somebody might record you. You just never really know. So my suggestion, and one of my teachers made this suggestion to us when I was in high school, and that is to just be you. Be you. Now, if you are a profane, a lot of people just naturally curse. I'm not really an advocate of that just because to me it's kind of negative. It just is not a good vibe for me. I don't judge you. And it's funny because when people sit around me and they say if they say a curse word, they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry." And I don't tell them. I don't say stop. They just have this feeling around me because I'm a positive person. I don't speak profanity that much. But anyway, so be yourself and try to have one main dialect that you speak on a regular basis. And when you do that, it becomes much more easier for you, right? So I think that's it. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. Pronunciate your words, enunciate your words, meaning open your mouth. And actually, these techniques I learned singing growing up. Singing, I know everybody cannot sing, but singing will help you. You see how my mouth is moving? But you can understand what I'm saying, or hopefully you can. So that's where I learned those techniques. And they're very helpful. Extremely helpful. But feel free if you have any questions. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, fine. Put it all in the comment box. If you have any questions, please do so. If you know someone who needs this kind of tutorial or just needs some advice. And the last thing is, of course, this goes without saying lots of times, but your clothes. Make sure, try to be as professional as you can. I mean, I have lots of days I just wear crazy stuff. I have my off days or it's really hot and I'm like, I'm wearing leggings. I'm just wearing leggings. But, the whole, in DC, oh my goodness, you guys, I've never seen it this bad in my life. Every young boy has their pants down. And it's like, and you can see, then they pull their shirts up and their pants down so you can see their underwear. And it's just like, oh my goodness, that is not fair for all those guys who be like, tramp stamp, and you have all that hanging out. That is disgusting. Who said that was sexy? That is not a sexy style. It's just not. It's very disgusting. And the only people who like that are the people they're trying to impress, like the other guys, like, oh yeah, look at my Aeropostale jeans or True Religion jeans, and most of the time they don't even have that. And it's like, what? Pull up your pants. Pull up your pants. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody's gonna hire you unless you're trying to work at a dollar store, at a corner store. And even then, you have to pull your pants up. You have to pull your khakis up, sir, my good sir. So. Yeah, I got a little carried away on that. And then the last thing too, I'm sorry, I keep adding things, but I promise this is the last thing. Piercings. As you can see, I have a nose ring. It is very small. It is not disturbing. Or it might be, but anyway. Now, I've seen lots of folks who have like, the eyebrow, excuse me, who have the eyebrow piercing, who have the piercing right here, which when you talk, it like comes out. I don't know what's the purpose of that. Or, these people start having these double dimple piercings. Like, what? That's what dimples are for. You don't need a piercing on top of your dimple. Like, we know you have dimples. I have dimples. Like I have little dimples. I'm not gonna pierce that. Like, anyway, what other there's the one here and then the whole ear, which you can hide that. I'm trying to think of other things. They put it here or maybe you have one in your tongue, that type of thing. If you're trying to get a job, please limit, or if you're on a witness stand, and then the infamous one, that one, what is that, y'all? It's like a hoof, like it looks like a horseshoe. Like, really? A horseshoe in your nose? Like, I would hate to blow it's bad enough with this. I hate to blow my nose with that in my nose. Anyway, my point is, if you want people to take you seriously in any sort of environment, please take those out or limit them. Like, just, if you're going to have one of these, just have one if you're going to do that. Don't have 5 on your face because it's distracting. People are not going to listen to what all they're going to be thinking is, and I do this all the time, and maybe I'm a little judgmental and I try not to be, but I be like, that had to hurt. What are they wearing? Why do they have so many? Like, that's really what runs through my mind. I don't care what you're saying. I'll be like, why so many? Why the horseshoe? Why? Anyway, okay, I'm done. I love you. I hope this helps. Peace.